Good afternoon, everybody. Please join us in a moment of silence to honor all those that have fallen in the line. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Tactical Financial Studios. This is Sports Beat with Freed and Fredericks, or Fredericks and Freed, whichever way you'd like it. How are you today?
Good, sir. How are you doing?
Life is good. This retirement thing is
2 months in, 3 months?
yeah, it's growing on me. I got a little bit too much free time on my hands, but things are good. How about you? How's family? Everything?
Good. You do any traveling or?
That's coming soon. I got a few little junkets planned, and coming down to scenic Phillipsburg to join us all. Hello, Blue in the back on the wheels on the board today. Good days ahead. Hopefully, we get some nice weather. It's been exceedingly hot. You would think, though, with me that I have all this time, you would think that I would be able to play golf better. Sadly,
you haven't.
Sadly, the golf game has suffered immensely since I've been trying to teach myself. And as they always say, golf has been ruining a good walk for centuries. So,
how many shots? One.
Oh God, don't
too many.
I don't think they have a handicap that high yet. I don't think they do. But how are you today, Blue?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good. Yeah, walk down here was a little hotter than expected, but it's all good.
Yeah. Nice times all around. So, what do you? What's on your mind today? What shall we chat about first?
What do you want to talk about?
Okay. How about we start with Cody Bellinger?
Okay.
I, as we all know, I am not a Yankee fan, but yesterday was quite the performance. 3 home runs, and it's
almost the fourth.
Almost the fourth.
Tucker stole that one.
And they had that statistic. That's actually a 4 home run game is rarer than a perfect game. They only have had 6 4 home run games in Major League history. I saw that on there.
Shoot. And there was another one this season. But Bellinger was the second one.
Well, he didn't get the 4th.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so that was quite the offensive output. But I think that went overlooked as well as, who I think is the best player in the Major League Baseball, which is Aaron Judge. He the amazing catch over the wall, 2 diving catches, and this isn't a game. He was the wall catch, it was still a bit close. But the diving catches, you guys were up 7 runs at that point. And I'm like, look at this guy diving for stuff. And they got 15 hits, 8 runs. And I'm like, he's still diving for balls. Right. It's amazing to watch him.
It's actually, give him credit for that, because, the years ago he had that dive where he had the rib injury that caused him to be out for basically that half of the season.
That, yeah.
But it's like they couldn't figure out what it was. Was it a strain? I think it turned out to be like the broken ribs going into.
I broke my ribs before. As a matter of fact, I broke my ribs at a BBO event. Yes, I was dumb enough to box. I was dumb enough to box in their first charity event, and they caught me in the right ribs. And broken ribs are not fun. Not fun. And they don't heal right away. I don't know if you're aware. You have to do this thing called breathing. And you have to do this thing called moving and twisting your body around. It's not fun, no. So my boxing career was over that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, Ben Hoffman, shout out to him.
Oh, Ben?
Hello, Ben. Ben is the one who, he did win. He won legit. And he did break my ribs, but there was that. So, all in good fun, all for charity. So I can say I did it. But yeah, so I can commiserate with the Aaron Judge and his $500 million, because it hurts a lot. And with the way he swings the bat and how hard he swings the bat, I can see where that would cause problems.
Right. It's just you did it for free.
Yes, I did. No, I did get a few free drinks out of it. So not for free.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, Yankees trying to right the ship a bit. We were talking off air that. Mike believes that Cody Bellinger has saved the Yankees season by how well he's been batting. Is that correct?
Correct. And also, like I said, he had that great catch against the Mets.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
And then caught
those
Lindor off door.
Ridiculous double plays. I was screaming at the TV. Lindor not sliding back into first, and then Bellinger in that great catch to get it back. And like we probably, the Mets probably would have won that game we would have
Right.
we would have swept the Yankees if not for those two amazing double plays. And so, yeah, good times for the Yankees.
Oh, I got to get my glasses on. I believe with that and the win, they won yesterday and the day before, correct?
Yes,
The
they
Yankees.
did. Yeah.
That brings them to then, I believe they're 6-0 since that catch.
Yeah. Well,
So-
anything that inspires the team, it's odd what gets you. It's odd what turns the season around.
That's what momentum.
Yeah.
The good momentum.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into for me with momentum. I don't know how you feel. I know we're going a little bit into the future, dealing with playoffs and World Series and all that. Because you have the division winners get the time off, and then you have the wild card guys go right into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one that see the way the old school way. Fine, if we were to do that, one team from each division, how it used to be without the wild card.
Yeah,
you're not getting any time off, so you're continuing the momentum. For the wild card guys, I think it's better to be a wild card team than the team
because you're still playing.
I
actually don't like any of it. I think baseball's turned themselves into hockey and basketball.
Right.
Half the teams make the playoffs. And so all you have to do is coast in.
Right.
But when we talk about momentum, you can talk about the Mets last year. They had I think they were 10 games under 500 at this point, and they just went on some kind of tear. And then in the playoffs, they were the hot team right up until they ran into the Dodgers. But I mean, no one expected them to do that. So yeah, I agree. Momentum in baseball is a thing, but also baseball is a long season. I never thought the Yankees were going to be out of it. Their team is too good.
No,
players.
I tell people it's the same thing every year. They'll go on a 5-game, 10-game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone says that's it. The season's over. Always the same time.
Sky is falling.
It's not over. They'll go from first, second, third, fourth, and skyrocket all the way either back to second or first. And they only miss the playoffs one time.
Okay. As a Met fan, very jealous of that.
I know.
Speaking of the Mets, and I can bring it forward with that, is that it's all momentum. And the Mets were on a tear. They were 19 games over 500 at one point, and then they went on that big losing streak.
Yeah.
And now we're just trying to figure it out and get players back. But last night, Mark Vientos finally showing a little flair, a little bit of last year's mojo.
Right.
But I'm sitting here we're losing 2 games to the Orioles, who are a horrible team. They have good players, but they're a horrible team. There's no reason the Mets should be doing that. And then last night, Kansas City, not exactly a harbinger of great team, and they had us 3-0, and so maybe Vientos brings us over the top. Maybe this Spurs, because right now it's only the top 4 players that are carrying the Mets.
Well, he had the strikeout.
Mm-hmm.
He broke the bat over his knee, and then that's when the next.
So did Alonso.
Yep. But Alonso had the golden sombrero again.
Yes,
so.
but if not for Alonso, if not for
Soto,
and
Lindor,
Lindor and Nimmo, the top 4 bats on the team are the ones carrying them right now. And what's going overlooked with the Mets?
It's the bottom.
No. What's going overlooked with the Mets is how good their starting pitching has been. Peterson gives us 7 innings. Senga gives us 7 innings, and we don't have to burn bullpen, but we're just not putting runs on the board. And I don't want, it's exciting baseball, all right? That you come back in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, but that to me isn't a recipe to win the World Series. It's not. I compare that Yankee team that won, what did they win? 113, 114 games. As I've said many, many times, I worked in the 44th precinct, which is Yankee Stadium, as a Mets fan. Watching all those World Series. Isn't that great? And so, but I remember that team, and that was like a juggernaut. You couldn't touch that team. That team knew they were coming out and they were going to win. They were going to win. That was it. And so as a fan of a team, I would rather have that. The Mets play some exciting baseball, and there's some good quality players. We're definitely going to have to go get a pitcher and another bat.
Right.
That's coming. We're going to have to at the trade deadline. We can't survive without it.
Well, don't forget Winker just went down. So with
again, But I mean, he was a nice spark last year. I don't know what's wrong with Stanek. Stanek was a reliable eighth inning guy last year, and now
Stanek, Aaron, and
and Buto was another one. He's not pitching well.
He's injured, right?
Right, but he wasn't pitching well before that. So where's the line? Like where do I find the real Mets? You know, and we were once again talking off air about Michael Kay. You know, and his criticisms of Juan Soto. To me, and I'll take the Mets perspective, and you can take the Yankees perspective. To me, he's sour grapes.
Yeah,
he's one of those things where he well, actually, there's a video we can watch first. So why don't we just listen to this and then we can critique it.
We have them. I'm not sure which one it was, though.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, we'll get.
Was it?
Which one was it?
Are you concerned when you hear?
You had him before. I saw Michael K's face. So, but
that was it. That was a graphic that I had.
Just a graphic. Okay.
So we'll continue while we search away.
Was that the something going on with the Mets? He was talking about the Mets.
Yeah. Actually, there's no video. It was just a picture.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So we're not waiting for a video.
Okay.
Anyway,
I had the picture.
So as the Mets fan, Michael Kay to me has always and will always be a shill for the Yankees. That's all he is. He's a Yankee apologist. He's a Yankee cheerleader. So, and look, I'm not saying he's not a good broadcaster. He is. You know, I mean, well, obviously the best broadcasting team in Major League Baseball is Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, and Ron Darling.
Right.
So let's not mince words there. But Michael Kay does his job. He's a shill for the Yankees. But I just think for me, it's sour grapes that he thought that Juan Soto was just a foregone conclusion with the Yankees. And so he was reveling in Juan Soto's travails. And believe it or not, Juan Soto was not bad. Like when people were saying he was bad, he wasn't hitting home runs at the time, but he's getting on base a lot. He was getting a lot of walks. He was getting singles. He was scoring some RBIs. He wasn't doing bad. He just wasn't doing Juan Soto.
Right.
And now Juan Soto is Juan Soto. He got 21 home runs. And Juan Soto talking about the All-Star game. Yeah, he got snubbed. And there's a certain amount of money. I mean, we can talk. I'll give you.
I think it's only 10,000.
But I'll give you back the mic in a second because we could talk about why I think the All-Star game is worthless and they should just go to what the NFL does. Yeah. But the whole idea of Juan Soto not making the All-Star game is kind of sad to me. Like with the season he's having. You know, and Pete Alonso was not the first baseman. He's in the All-Star game, but he's not the starting first baseman. I don't care about Freddie Freeman. The Mets are battling for first place and are in first place, and he's carried the team all year. He should have been the guy. But getting back to Kay, I think that it's almost sad in a way to me that he's just constantly obsessing over this. It's like you have a team. The Yankees are a very good team. They're in first place now, right? The Yankees are in first place. You're pitching well. Your pitching's coming around. Devin Williams, your reliever's playing well. Your batters are all hitting. Bellinger, Judge. There's a whole bunch of them. I don't understand why you're so obsessed over one player that did not want to play in the Bronx. I don't get it because that's really what it comes back to for me. And what are your thoughts from a Yankee fan perspective?
I guess as a Yankee fan, well, I'm not a Yankee fan, but
I thought you were a Yankee
fan.
fan.
I'm not a Yankee fan.
Oh shit. Okay, sorry about that.
That's Mo.
Mo's Mo. I'm always confusing you too. Yeah. All right. So as a Mets fan, take the Yankee side.
But as a Yankee fan, you knew he was the rental. Was he going to sign? It was split. They
offered him more money.
Yeah, they offered him more money, but but for that kind of money, you got Fried. You got who'd you get? You got Fried, Bellinger,
and there was one other. I can see his face. But yeah, you got
three players for that
price of one.
Price of one.
Yeah.
Without Fried.
You're not even in
first place. No, because you're without Cole, you're without Heel, you're now Schmidt. That's another thing that I was upset about with Schmidt. You know, he was close to getting the no hitter, and they took him out.
Yeah.
So my problem was
Pitch
pitch
count.
count.
All the thing with me.
but that's the whole thing. I said, I'm saying to myself, let him go. Old school baseball,
Yep.
let him go. But then we find out he had a forearm issue after the next game. But what we also find out is the team knew, and that he knew that he had that forearm issue, I believe, for over 3-4 weeks.
Okay.
So I feel bad about that, but they should have shut him down then, because they did a disservice to him. Now he has Tommy John surgery. He's going to probably not come back till 2027, even if there is a season, because of the lockout.
Well, we had that discussion last week with Mo and everybody about the injuries, the Tommy Johns that these people are getting.
Right.
And I think wasn't a universal agreement, but I think it's people like we have these kids, right? And instead of just like, so when I grew up, I wasn't very good at these sports. I was good enough, but I was never going to play any college ball or anything like that. But I played football, I played baseball, I played soccer, I ran track. I did a whole bunch of other things, and I enjoyed sports. And like a travel team or an extra team, like that was a rarity. Like those kids were rare. Now these parents, like your boy or your girl's in like softball or baseball, just keep it there, and they play in the summer. Then they're in a fall league. Then they're in a travel league. Then there's winter training, or they go somewhere else, and it's near constant. And I think you're just wearing out the joints on these people like too early because they're playing too much. You don't give these kids, a chance to rest, a chance to do other things. And look, I'm not going to knock parents. You want what's best for your kids, and I'm certainly not going to raise your children. But it's almost like it's not fun anymore. Like it's like almost like a job. And so for me, I think that's where this come from. I think these players, and I also think, believe it or not, like they work out too much. I think they're almost in too good a shape. There's something to be said for, having a more relaxed, they had, Rick Russell was on something on the Yankees list because he played for the Yankees before he retired, the Russell brothers. I remember them.
Right.
And they both were 250 above pounds, and they definitely weren't specimens of athleticism.
Well, that's it. Everyone made fun of Daniel Vogelback.
Yeah.
I said, to me, what's the big deal? You want old school was the husky guy, like David Wells. David Wells. David
Wells. Yeah.
Austin.
Okay.
Wells.
Yeah.
With the Yankees, the catcher.
Well,
he's not your typical. He's got the belt. When he has the shirt off.
You can throw David Wells in there. I used to drink with him. Yeah. But I mean, we dived off in a different direction, which is fine. But I just think that that's part of it. I think that this need to succeed, I guess would be the way to put it, is damaging people. And because I don't remember.
But the fans want that.
I don't remember. Do you remember, Tommy John, okay, the originator of this surgery?
Yeah.
The originator of this surgery. Do you remember people getting these types of surgeries and these types of injuries at any great extent back then?
No, because they weren't doing well. Now it's different body and all that stuff working out.
It seems like almost now everybody. It's almost a foregone conclusion that these pitchers are going to get this done
because they're doing too much. They're not with the players from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and I believe until the 80s would have a second job besides baseball.
Yeah. Mickey Mantle worked at Roger Maris worked at a car dealership. Mickey Mantle worked on a farm.
Yeah.
But the whole thing for me is that, and so you're right. Bringing it back, like Max Fried is one of the main reasons why the Yankees are in first place. And you got Max Fried and those two other players because you didn't sign Juan Soto. I always, because we're all old enough to remember Papa George Steinbrenner. Now George would have mortgaged every house he had and sold all the plasma in his body to get whatever player he wanted. So the team is different. I don't think the Yankees, we're talking about a $5 billion franchise. So let's not cry poverty. But the idea that I don't think the Yankees are the top spender anymore. I don't think the current brain trust is the spend at all costs to win at all costs team anymore. I don't think they are. And it shows. I mean, but like I laugh about this because as you mentioned before, they've only missed the playoffs once in 27 years, I think it is, 28 years. One time they missed the playoffs. And for me as a Met fan, you tell me I'm going to the playoffs every year, where do I sign up for that? Where do I sign up for that?
But that's it. It kind of reminds me too of, I'm going to football with the Bills.
Okay.
What did they do? They went 4 years in a row.
They went 4 years in a row.
But then they lost.
They lost everyone.
Lost everyone.
Lost twice to San Francisco, once to Cowboys, and
The Giants.
the Giants. Oh yeah, wide right.
Right. And then it reminds me also of the Braves, who would always win the division.
Yeah. At least
And
they
then-
won one. They won one.
But why is it what?
Well, what type of team would you want? So personally, I don't think Pittsburgh should have a team. They're not putting money into it. I don't think there's a couple of. I don't think Florida should have any teams. The fans don't support those teams. They shouldn't have a baseball team. There's much better towns that would definitely go and support something. Like if you're, and I think certain owners don't put money into their teams. And so I think that the product is getting diluted with these teams. Like it was a known quantity back in the 50s and the 60s that the Pittsburgh Pirates, and there were 2 or 3 other teams, they were farm teams for the Yankees.
Right.
They would poach all their good players. And that's why these teams did not ever go to the playoffs, and all these teams go to the Yankees. Well, that's not the case.
And they would get the money.
Yeah. They wanted the money.
The luxury.
Which brings us to, and they wouldn't spend the luxury,
No.
which is what brings us to the collective bargaining agreement that's coming up. So the owners are thinking about putting in a salary cap.
Right.
So
I think you have a picture of that, Blue, right?
Hold on, we have a caller coming in.
Oh. Wonder who that is.
but the owners are thinking of putting a salary cap in.
Hello, you are live.
Oh, good morning, guys. How are you?
Hello.
Oh, how are you, sir? Mystery caller on the air.
I do. Yeah, I'm a long-time listener, third-time caller. I do like what's going on with your facial hair, John. It's starting to really come in a little bit there. It's
Yeah.
nice. I don't know if you're eating Miracle Grow.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you why I grew the beard? Well, I haven't had a beard for 36 years. And I said, and the last time it was red. So I said, let's see how much white is in the beard. And that's why I grew it. It looks pretty distinguished. I think I like it.
Strict experiment.
Yeah.
It's funny. You guys were talking about, the injuries to players and what could be causing that or whatever. Just the other night, I watched Facing Ryan or Facing Nolan, whichever it was, on Netflix.
Yes.
Great.
Phenomenal documentary.
Great.
Forget what you think about Netflix. But I mean, there's something to be said as well for the generational difference where, like Mike was saying, as recent as the 80s and 90s, like the expectation of finishing the game you started was just there. Like Ryan specifically said, when they started to put him on a pitch count towards the end of his career, it's like, pitch count? what the hell is that? Like,
did he throw 157 pitches in one game? I think he did.
That was the one where he
It was
had
on the
to
face,
pass
right?
Koufax, where he had to pass Koufax's single season strikeout record, and the game ended up going into extra innings
And he went.
to his benefit. I think he needed 16 in that game in order to pass Koufax for 383. I think Koufax had 382 and he had 383 in a single season, and it ended up going into extra innings, and he pitched like all the way through and ended up getting that 383rd in either like the 11th or 12th inning. I mean, that's I think it could go either way, right? Is the babying of not only just children's arms, but teens, college level, is the babying of their arms really beneficial? I mean, think of the ones recently that we've seen, right? And like starting like Jabba Chamberlain, where they put him on it, and then Strasburg, same thing, where they put him on it. I don't know if what the Mets did with that whole Pulsifer, Isringhausen,
Generation
and
K, yeah.
Jones.
Right.
You know, they're never going to be the next Atlanta Braves. I remember that time. Remember when
Yep.
that happened?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I was there. I remember. Or
So,
Ba-
I mean,
or the Dark Knight. You know, all those guys. Yeah.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I just think I think the opposite is where we need to go. On
Pitch
top
the
of, I'm
war?
not going to bring up the steroid thing. You're getting away from. I think forget whether it was either you or Mike made the point of the working out. I think there's too much emphasis on that. I mean, these guys they smoked, they drank, they played baseball. And in the off season, you guys are 100% right.
They
Same
worked.
documentary. Ryan had said after he was with the Mets and they won the World Series that year. A year he made $7,000 on his contract.
He was a rookie.
He had to get a job.
He
In the
was a
off
rookie.
season, he went home and he had a job in the off season the year after winning the
Yeah.
World Series.
Yeah.
It's just the expectation, I think, is different, and I honestly think the babying of these bodies is what's causing these injuries.
I have a funny aside about Nolan Ryan pitching 157, and I really should have like photocopied it. So there was a post in Facebook. There was a guy apparently in the 1900s that got struck by lightning in the 7th inning of a game and stood up and finished the game after being struck by lightning. And now these guys are on a 50 count pitch count. They get babied off the field, struck by lightning. I should have copied it because I didn't think we were going to be talking about this today. But I mean, oh my God.
Well, that's
no,
it.
it's
Go ahead.
If they're
no,
gonna,
go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
well, that's it. If they're gonna, why I said it's gonna have to be a factor in the next bargaining agreement. If you want to protect the player, if you're going to baby them and everything like that, they're going to go to the 6-man rotation. Who knows if they're going to go to a 7-man rotation or anything like that.
Oh my God.
You're going to have to.
Jeez, you're not even going to have a 150 game winner at that point.
You're going to have to.
Right.
You're going to have to expand the roster so you could save your pitchers, and it's going to continue to be a. I don't think it's going to be more. It's going to be a 4 or 5 inning starter with your bullpen.
Yep.
Bullpen guys are going to be the more valuable guys to get the more money. I wouldn't give a starting pitcher more than 3 years now. I might give a bullpen guy maybe 4 years.
So anonymous caller for a moment, because I want to dovetail to what we were talking about previously. They're talking about for the collective bargaining agreement to bring a salary cap into baseball. And you probably heard me bitching about Pittsburgh and Florida shouldn't have a team because they don't support them. But here's my warning to all those cheering for a salary cap. Did you see how the NFL works now? Like, I mean, it's like, okay, absent Kansas City Chiefs, tell me the team that's dominant every single year, like the Yankees, and I think it's 27 years straight of making the playoffs. That comes to an end with a salary cap because you're not going to be able to keep the players that you have anymore. They're going to be all over the map. And you make one bad decision and you've got a salary cap hit against you and it's over. You're done for 2-3 years after that. That's what happens in the NFL. That's what happens in the NBA. That's what happens in hockey to a lesser extent. But what do you think about that, bringing a salary cap into baseball?
Well, I mean, I think that kind of is part of the point too, is that competitive, a salary cap. You're right. It does affect dynasties. It impacts dynasties, but I think that's kind of the point of what they want to do with baseball, which is, I mean, again, it's, I guess, smart and stupid depending on which side of the fence you sit on. Does it create more parity? Does it give these lower market teams a chance to compete? Does it give these lower market teams a chance to actually keep their homegrown players? I mean, I guess, it does. Are we ever going to see a generation again where, you had, like when we were growing up, where, how many players then, how many superstars then stayed with their teams? Almost all of them. I mean, you had Mattingly, you had Gwynn, you had Boggs, you had Brett, you had all these guys that just, going to another team was never even really
Well,
a
Bob's
thought.
did.
And even if it was a threat just to squeeze out a couple extra dollars. They weren't going anywhere. Are we ever going to see a generation like that again? No, there's no such thing as a hometown discount with any of these
No.
players now.
We-
Now it's just
We actually have
God.
a video of that where guy Mr. Myers is talking about that. He was on one of the shows, and he talks about it. If you want to listen, it's about a minute.
Yeah, go ahead, load it up. Go ahead, absolutely.
Are you concerned when you hear the commissioner and owners talk about how it's almost a guarantee that we're going to have some type of lockout? I know Tony Clark, your colleague, has mentioned this before. The stance is, why the heck would you want to stop the sport even in the off season for any period of time, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's up to the owners whether to do a lockout or not. They did it last time, and I've seen the comments that suggest that they're definitely going to do it this time. It doesn't surprise me, but it does suggest that, maybe. I mean, what are we doing then for the months before that when we're supposedly bargaining in good faith? If a lockout is a sure thing, I mean, to be clear, a lockout is a weapon. It's a weapon that management uses in a labor dispute. It's their decision to lock the doors, close the camps. Last time, as you remember, during the lockout, they took all the players' pictures off the website, and so that they're not promoting the game. It's a bad thing for the game. It's a bad thing for fans. It's a bad thing, obviously, for players and their families. You hope and expect that both sides come in ready to negotiate in good faith with no preconceived notions. But the reality is that a lockout is their main economic weapon, and so certainly we'll be prepared for that if that's how it goes.
That's basically what the
Matt?
Well, that's the union delegate. No union wants a salary cap. And
Right.
baseball and
well that's it. They want. I think what it looks like they want to do what I get out of it. What I saw is a $360 million cap to prevent the maximum to prevent the payrolls from exceeding double the league's lowest payroll, which is around. They want the floor to be about 180.
Yeah. Well, see, here's a side problem with the salary cap. Never mind what the anonymous caller on the air is saying about, like, these generational players and whatnot and staying on the team. Ask yourself, are you going to watch a Pittsburgh Pirates, Kansas City Royals World Series? Are you?
I mean, right now, I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, we've always said, that's the joke about, you can hate the Yankees, you can love the Yankees, but a team like the Yankees is good for the sport because every time the Yankees come to town, every stadium sells out. So yeah, if you had if every team, it's almost like socialism in baseball, right? Like if every team is going to be equally as shitty, who's going to watch them?
All the Pirates have is just Skeens right now, and he's probably, unless they do something,
they're not going to sign him.
Right.
So
I mean, but at the same time, guys, I mean, listen, let's be real. The way these contracts are going, we're an ass hair away from having $1 billion player. Whoever that's going to be.
We'll have one in 2 years. 2 years, we'll have $1 billion player.
Well, you said
that's.
You still can kind of do the salary if you do the ceiling. If you do a ceiling of like 500 million,
but
the lowest you could go is 250.
But the Players Association will never agree with the ceiling for salaries. They always want the salaries to go up. That's the problem with the salary cap. And like I said, so if I live in Pittsburgh, or if I'm a Florida Marlins fan, or I'm any one of these lower market teams that every once in a while they taste the playoffs and maybe make the World Series, right? Then that's good for me. And as a fan, as long as there's a bottom level that I have to spend money for as an owner to field a competitive team, that's great. But like I said, as a Mets fan, we lose the Yankees, the evil empire. We lose them. We lose that thing in the biggest market next to Los Angeles. You lose Los Angeles. Do you think the Dodgers can do what they're doing with salary cap? No, they can't.
No.
So I mean, Shohei Ohtani ruins their entire salary cap right there. And so
Yeah.
I don't like.
Well, not if they suspended him from baseball for betting like they did
yes,
Pete
indeed.
Rose.
Yes,
but that's
Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame.
like they should have done.
Yeah.
Pete Rose belongs in the
they
Hall of
should have
Fame.
done. But
Disgrace.
yeah, it's. I'll tell you what, and I'll leave you with this. I'll trade if I'm the players' union. I'll trade the salary cap for them to get rid of the bigger bases, for them to get rid of the extra runner in extra innings on second base, for them to get rid of the pitch clock, for them to get rid of all these little tinkering bullshit things. They can take the salary cap, get rid of all that other shit.
It's interesting that you brought that up with all the other things that are going on, because we were talking once again off air about the ABS, the automated ball call system,
Right?
And so because I was watching it was the Mets Yankees, and Dylan, I forget his last name, but that was the home plate ump. He missed 20 balls.
Yeah. During the that was the worst umpiring.
Both for Yankees and Mets. So, I mean, obviously the Mets calls were a little more significant because he struck out 2 players when we had runners on, where we could have probably, scored on the Yankees. All right. But I'm all for the robot calling strikes, and they're even trying to nickel and dime that.
Really?
They
really
100%. I don't. You know what irritates me? There are 2 stats that irritate me in baseball right now. One is launch velocity. Who fucking cares about launch velocity? I don't care. I don't care how fast the ball went out. Who cares? Who cares? I don't know why that stat is there. Then 2 is this ump does not call the high strike. Excuse me. It's a strike or it's not. I don't care that you don't like calling the high strike. It takes away from the game.
Right.
Dude, that's kind of. I mean, bro, think about growing up. I mean, that kind of is what makes the game what it is.
No.
Especially if you're the player. Forget from a fan standpoint. The pitch clock I hate from a fan standpoint, because again, you're speeding what's supposed to be, a day at the park. It's supposed to be time with your family. It's become this sped up thing. Like, you should want to spend, if you and your father, you and your mother, you and your parents, with your siblings, you're going to the ballpark, you should want that day to last as long as humanly possible. The fact that we're trying to speed that up it's just stupid. Like, no, I mean, extra innings. Wait, you're going to give me extra innings? I'll sit here all day and watch baseball.
I'm in full agreement with you, but I get the other side of it. That the shift ruined baseball. The guy comes in and pitches one pitch to get one guy out, and now we got to warm another guy up. It just takes forever. And I get the world we're in now. You are not going to have a young fan sit there and watch 7 pitching changes in one inning and endless mound
social media,
endless
social media generation. Yeah,
you're just not. The world has moved on, and like I said, I'm not for the bigger bases. I hate the ghost runner. I think that's stupid. I never liked the shift. I'm glad they got rid of that because it made it boring baseball.
Although they do like a mini.
Well, but they can't go. They can't go past second base on either side. And then I'm tired of I'll just go back to that game in the 8th and the 9th inning. That umpire made himself the game. Those were clearly balls that he called strikes on Juan Soto, and he called them on Brandon Nimmo, and that ruined the momentum that the Mets had, because I'm not going to say they would have scored, but you took the ball out of the people's hands. An umpire, a referee, anything, you are not the game. You are supposed to be not seen, not heard.
Unless you're Angel Hernandez. In that case,
yes, indeed. But so and
that
also,
guy was bigger than the guy.
I know, but now it also here's what it also removes is that the computer is calling the strikes. So there's no manager now that's going to be yelling at the ump. The ump's not calling the strikes. You can still have the home plate umpire for if the catcher drops the ball, play at the plate. You can still keep the replays because we already use the replays now. So you can use replay. The coach is on the phone for every play, and that goes really quickly.
I don't know, man. I'm a purist, and I think of the stuff we used to watch growing up. With the Weavers and the Pinellas and these epic managerial meltdowns.
Sure.
I like that game. I like the human aspect of it. And, again, from a player standpoint, forget a fan standpoint, from a player standpoint, I like that mental part of it where you do have to factor in the fact, all right, this umpire is not giving anything, a half an inch off of the plate. Or if Greg Maddux is pitching, this umpire is going to be giving strikes in the opposite fucking batter's box. It's just what it is.
Right.
I like that. I like that human side of it. That's another layer of talent. It's another layer of skill. And listen, look at somebody like Tony Gwynn. Look at the numbers he put up. And so obviously it can be done. It can be adjusted to from a talent standpoint. You just have to approach it differently. I think the more robotic the game comes, the less purists you're going to have around it, the less real, I'm not say real fans, but the more you accommodate the watering down of the product. Baseball is what it is because of what it's been from the beginning. And the more you drift away from the beauty of that, I think you're going to lose fans. The salary cap aside, that kind of tinkering, and you're right, the players' union is never going to agree. And at some point in time, though, the salaries are going to become unsustainable without having to absolutely break your fan base. Nobody has $1,000 to go to a game. It's just what it is. That argument aside, I think just from a quality, a product standpoint, I think the further we drift away from that, the less meaningful the talent is going to be. And certainly, like to what you guys started this with the pitching, you're never going to see numbers, records, anything like that. And Mike's right. I wouldn't give a starting pitcher anything. What was it? The Devil Rays or the Rays, whichever way you want to say it, started. Weren't they the first ones with the opener, starting with starting the game with a reliever, and then you're right. The value of a starting pitcher really is becoming less and less and less. But yeah,
Mike,
for those,
Mike, what are your thoughts?
Or I'll close with what I opened with. If for those that haven't seen it, I know Netflix is a fucking demon and hate Netflix. Fuck Netflix, but don't fuck them. We'll go watch that Nolan Ryan documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Very well done.
It's excellent.
Throwback. The guy's a beast. Great show, guys. And keep up with the facial hair. Looks great. Looks awesome. Mike, you're next. You got to start growing some facial hair. So I don't know what the fuck surgery you got to get to make that shit happen. I don't know. Go get the implants, like hair club for men, but for your face, maybe. I don't know. See how it goes.
I'll have to give a blue a picture.
There you go.
And you'll see.
I
have one.
We'll do an AI.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it looks.
There you go. Guys, have a great weekend.
You too.
So two opposing views on technology and baseball. What say you?
Like I see what he's saying, but like I said, I'm for with all there's just way too many bad calls. But what I think they're gonna do with the All-Star game, I believe it's the replay of it, and I'm still gonna make the call it, but the batter has the opportunity to.
But you only get to do that twice in a game.
Yeah.
So what's the point? If the umpire's throwing 20 bad calls out and I'm in the first inning and I don't like it, I tap on my head to tell them that one's gone. I only have one more for the rest of the game. It's dumb.
I know they should do it like tennis when you're serving it. You can.
Or soccer,
they don't give you
or soccer with the VAR or football with the. We'll get.
I want to get to that later about that too.
So Blue, we're both exhausted after that phone call. Can we take a short break before we come back?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a quick commercial break.
Cool. Be back in 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, about 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Line of Duty Cigars proudly donates cigars to our servicemen and women stationed abroad. Check out all their cigars and products at www.lineofdutycigars.com.
Mama Shug's freeze-dried candy. Find them on the web at mamashuggsfreezedriedcandy.com. What is freeze-dried candy? Glad you asked. Freeze-dried candy, as the name suggests, undergoes a process where it's frozen and all moisture is removed, leaving behind pure sugar crystals. This technique intensifies the flavor and transforms previously gummy or chewy treats into light, airy, and crunchy delights. Whatever you do, don't sleep on the Charleston Chew. It is delicious.
The Sun Tavern of Roselle Park, New Jersey, where the Blue Line goes to dine. Come in for our delicious pizza, cold beer, awesome mixed drinks, and Mike the Cop's favorite, the hanging pretzel.
Dubs on 5th, 402 5th Street, West Easton, PA. Family-friendly pub offering American eats and casual digs. Sporting kids games and high-definition TVs for all your sporting needs. Happy hour specials, clam and wing night deals, and live music are also on the menu. Dubs on 5th, 402 5th Street, West Easton, PA.
911 Specialties, special gifts for special professions. We are the originators of the QR Family Member Gold Card. We also custom manufacture police specialty items such as blue line flags with your name, coffee mugs, plaques, window shields, shield holders, cigar carriers, and hip flasks. Check out our website at 911specialties.store or come and visit us in person at 188 High Street, Nutley, New Jersey.
Fetty Ford, 1137 U.S. Route 46, Clifton, New Jersey. 973-779-7000. Check them out on the web at fettyfordsales.com.
Visit www.proudpig.blue. Dirty by design. Because if you're not patrolling with the pig, you're doing it wrong. Check out all of our new swine swag, and as always, thank you for your pig patronage.
Gara's Pizza, 200 Strikers Road, Phillipsburg, New Jersey. 908-454-9272. Home of the famous Upside Down Sicilian. Rated 8.7 by Mike the Cop. One bite, it's the law. Head down to Gara's, grab a slice, and let us know what you think. Tell them the Blue Podcast Network sent you.
This is why the ball keeps going into the road. And here's how you can stop that. Keep the ball in the driveway with Bounce Blocker. Get yours at www.bounce-blocker.com.
And we're back. So I'm not hearing anything. Testing? I'm not hearing you. Are you hearing me?
We're hearing you.
Okay, I don't hear.
No, actually, we're not
Oh,
hearing you through the mic.
Ooh. Oh, welcome back. It's me, Mike Freed. Well, we're here back at the Tactical Financial Studios. I'm back. Sorry, I got it.
Can you hear me now?
No.
I can't hear you on the mic.
So, little trying to work things out at the moment. Oh, I hear you. I hear you well with that now. We're still going to be talking a little bit more baseball. Getting back to Cody Bellinger. Actually, prior to yesterday's game, he was on a second time of having a 15-game hitting streak. Last time someone did that was actually Derek Jeter back in 2012, if I recall. So that's good for him. Also, the last time Cody Bellinger, this was actually the second time he had a 3 home run season. Mr. Fredericks.
Can you hear me now?
Oh no,
Shifting operations.
we're shifting. There you go. We got you.
Hear me now?
Yes.
There we go. All right. Things, emergency situations come up.
Right.
Where were we?
So as I was saying, I was going over that Bellinger had his second 15-game hitting streak. The last time that was done was Derek Jeter back in 2012. And then I was saying that this is the second time this season that he had a 3-run home run game. Some people, I actually took advantage of it because I knew 420.
Yes.
That's when Cody has his 3 home runs. He's done it 4 years in a row. So remember 420 for next year. Always bet on Cody to hit 3 home runs.
I wish I could smoke the herb and hit 3 home runs for the Yankees at the same time. It's quite the talent.
Well, I don't think he's smoking.
He looks high all the
I
time.
know.
Stop it.
Mr. Gummy. I call him, like I was telling you earlier, I call him Weaver,
Right.
Mr. Gummies.
So we were mentioning the All-Star game for baseball, and I'm of the ilk that I think all All-Star games are worthless. I don't think any of them should be played. I think the NFL has figured out the balance with that flag football and all those little silly things just to get the fans around. But the idea that the All-Star game should matter for anything,
Well,
and like in Major League Baseball, it matters for home field advantage for that 7th game, and so I don't think it should. They just tried to make it relevant, and you want to do the home run derby, you want to do a skills challenge. I'm fine with that, and do simple things. Maybe do a wiffle ball game, have a little fun with that.
no, I'm against. I'm okay with the home run derby, but not what the NFL. I don't want something like that.
Why don't you like that? It actually makes the Peyton Manning the flag football games that they coach are the biggest generators during the entire All-Star break. Everybody watches that.
That's football.
Yeah.
Not baseball.
But what is the point to it?
Well, no, I would go back. The whole thing is, and they're not going to go back, is it's the interleague. That's why everyone back in the day, you never got to see the old guys like Schmidt and all the people going back to people. You never got until interleague. Now you're guaranteed to see all these players.
Right.
So that's why I think the All-Star game now is more watered down because of interleague. Do you want to take away interleague?
Why
or not?
You don't have to take away anything. The All-Star game is a meaningless game. There is no reason for players to go out there and get hurt.
Well, now it is.
It was meaningless before.
No, it wasn't.
Sure, it was. They all came out, did not play. Like other than Pete Rose ruining his best friend's career, sliding into him at home plate.
Right.
And he's the only one that ever took it seriously. There's no reason to play an All-Star game. It's dumb. And I'll bet you if you polled every player in every major sport right now, they would say they'd rather have the time off. Thank you for making me an All-Star. Thank you for nominating me for this. But now I'm going to take a 3-day weekend. And I'm going to enjoy my time. And then I'm going to come back and play baseball.
Well, then.
What's the point?
Well, then we're going to the WBC.
Okay.
And the Olympics where they want to play. It's the fans because if the fans are telling you it's an exhibition game, they don't want to play in the players to play in WBC or the Olympics because they're going to get hurt.
All right.
Then
see, at least
that's how they feel about the All-Star game.
Edwin Diaz ruined his whole season. jumping up and down because they won the WBC and he blew out his knee. If you want to do something like what hockey did with the Six Nations,
Right.
okay, that means something. You're playing for a country. So you're telling me you want to send these players away to go to the WBC. Okay, I get that. You're playing for your home country. There's some interest in that, and so now the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and some of these Central American teams are really relevant. Because a lot of good players come from there.
Right.
And if there's that kind of a pride in one's nation to do something, that makes sense to me. But the nonsense that they're doing now, look at basketball. First off, these guys don't play.
No, it's too much.
First off, they had to bribe these guys to play the first half of the season to begin with. Right? They had this little in-season thing because these guys weren't playing because they knew that all I have to do is get to the playoffs. And we're paying these people millions and millions of dollars for what? For what?
And like you said, MLB is probably going to wind up being the same way. Two leagues, everyone.
What they I agree. I didn't agree when Edwin Diaz got hurt. But if that's what you're going to do and you're going to promote it, okay, so you have a certain amount of teams that can field players because not every country is going to have enough to field a full team. But you can do that. And then those teams can play like they did in hockey, like the Six Nations. That was really interesting stuff. And Canada and US and, and Trump and all his tariff stuff, that made it even better when the Kachuk brothers started beating people up. And, that's what the people want to see. They want to see people that care about something. So the All-Star game is meaningless. It's just it's a throwback to a simpler time when Mo could say there wasn't bigger bases and pitch clocks and all those types of things. But for me, it's a pointless game. And I think I like what the NFL did because the NFL couldn't do any kind of nations thing, and they wouldn't because the NFL is a much higher contact sport. But I like what the NFL did. They made it silly, and so the players could have a little fun with it. I like the World Baseball Classic. I would get rid of the All-Star game altogether. It would be a meaningless thing. Meaningless.
I would get on.
And I think the team with the best record at the end of the year, whoever the National League or the American League is, that's who gets home field. The best record. That's it. No, nothing else. And so there's an incentive to play. And, we all know I don't like the winter ballet of basketball, so I care less what they do. It's all straight boredom to me, rolling my eyes with all these guys and flopping. But
too many points.
Yeah.
It's not like college basketball.
Well, no, but it's you watch a game with the Celtics and Larry Bird and the Lakers with Magic Johnson. Watch a game then.
That was
watch
basketball.
how they played. That's how you play basketball. Right. Okay. They did not like each other. They didn't hate each other. They didn't like each other. And so that's how they played. Now it's all just flops and soccer flops. We'll talk about soccer in a little bit. Soccer flops and, 3-point shots, and you can't go near anybody. It's stupid. The whole thing is boring. They've ruined basketball. They've ruined it for the game it used to be. Speaking of basketball as well, so we have Angel Reese on the cover of the 2K26, video game. And I laugh about this because, well, I already have zero interest in women's basketball as it is, and I think they're purposely destroying themselves. Like I get it, some of these women have been playing for decades and they've been working hard, and and much like the baseball players of the past and the football players of the past that would bitch about Mahomes getting 500 million and Ohtani getting 500, they do that, but and they blaze the trail. I get that, but the entire WNBA's popularity is based off of one woman right now, Caitlin Clark, and the other one that defends her now, the pretty blonde girl. I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
I know.
But they are not tuning in to watch Angel Reese, and they're not tuning in to watch anything significant about what's going on with that game. It is pick that professional team and let me find one high school boys team that ranks, and it will be 150 to nothing with these professional women. I'm not saying that the women shouldn't have a league, but they're definitely marketing themselves the wrong way, and they're shooting themselves in the foot. And this one, who I guess they want controversy, and I guess they think controversy is going to sell video games, because that's the only reason I can think to put her on the cover of the video game, because she is definitely not the face of the league.
No.
And so, thoughts, don't care.
They're always bringing it about race. That's the other thing.
I don't like that.
It has nothing. Sure, she's not getting all the points, but she's a compiler for the rebounds.
Right.
For me, I would say, if Clark and Reese were on the same team, I actually think that would draw even more eyeballs, because that would be, I think, for them to play with each other, they would complement each other.
I completely disagree. I think there is a contingent of women in this league that are totally jealous of the fact that this newbie came in and is sucking up all the oxygen. And if I was the guy running this league, or if a woman running this league, I would have told all these people to shut the F up years ago. You want to get more money, you got to build the league. You got to show it through talent, not through this little catcalling going back and forth. And they're all like all these fouls and all these flagrant things they're doing. It's not building the league. It doesn't make you look tough.
I know that, but I'm saying complimenting. I think Clark would actually make Reese better.
She probably would, but Reese wouldn't play into it. Like,
because she wants to stay I know what you're saying.
She thinks she's the star of the league, and she's not. And there's a whole crew of people that are just backing this up. It's like I said, the two women's sports that I watch is I'll watch women's soccer and I'll watch women's golf. Three actually: women's golf and women's tennis. That's it, because that's the only thing where the competition to me feels good. It feels like these are people on par that, okay, no woman's ever going to play in a man's league. Whatever. Who cares? I don't like that comparison. But at least it's entertaining and competitive to watch, like women's tennis at Wimbledon now. It's entertaining to watch.
Well, you had a little controversy.
Sure, but it's entertaining. Oh yeah, the fight at the end.
Yeah.
But men fight too. It's just, whatever. Thoughts on women's sports? Join in as the resident female for this conversation.
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch any sports, so I'm not really too good with sports. That's why I don't chime in. I feel really bad just sitting here, but I don't really know much about sports. I mean, I watch hockey sometimes. I haven't had the chance to lately, but hockey's really the only sport that I know anything about.
Okay. Well,
sorry, guys.
No worries, Lou.
So women's hockey.
Yeah, there you go. Women's hockey. I bet that'd be pretty brutal, but
they play pretty tough. I've seen a few matches. So for me, it's like it needs to be competitive and it needs to be entertaining. And so like watching, like, say, Venus and Serena Williams was entertaining for me. Watching for a little while, Nelly Korda now and Michelle Wee back in the day play golf. The soccer team, all right, take the politics out of it, but watching the women's national soccer team kick butt all over the world, I'm Team USA first. I wish they would stop with the other bullshit, but I mean, I'm Team USA. I dig it, and to watch a dominant team.
They got to bring Hope Solo back.
It's great. Hope Solo, yes, and all her domestic violence. Yeah, bring that back. Likes to beat up her husband. How about that? But and dovetailing off for one moment, the men's national team brought me a little entertainment in the CONCACAF. We got to the finals against Mexico. Mexico was offsides, and that was a handball. But what are you going to do? Another thing for VAR and computers. Right. But the men's team showed me something bonding together, because it's always been the women's team. Like, we don't have all the good talent in America gets poached to the Premier League or over to La Liga, and Spain, because they grab these kids very quickly and they take care of them. It's not like
take care of them
for everything.
Starting at 11, 12. I think you said it last time we were here, where you're getting they
feed you, they house you, they'll pay for your college if you don't, you get a salary. They don't shove you off to the side. It's not like a puppy mill kind of thing. But all the good players go over there.
Do you think that would work here?
We don't have the infrastructure for it. So like Alexi Lawless is on X all the time,
Right.
and I follow him, and he talks about the issues that American soccer. He's a big fan of the MLS,
Right.
and he thinks that like one of the biggest things that was good for the MLS was they have their own dedicated stadiums now, and they do have a development league. But when you're the money's just not here in America. Now they will go see soccer. Like MetLife today is hosting Chelsea and PSG for the FIFA. We'll get back to that in a minute. The FIFA Club Cup, because a lot of my really hardcore soccer fans says it's just a money grab. Like they're not a fan of it. But I said it's just the first year. If they start building this up and like because Liverpool wasn't in it, but I mean like so if they're building this up to be this thing where it's a world kind of thing, maybe this will work out. You know, I don't know. But as far as American soccer goes, the infrastructure there's too many other distractions. The infrastructure just isn't there. So the Premier League has billions, and it's the richest league in the world. Billions and billions and billions of dollars coming into it at any one time. And so with the Premier League, you can take these kids, and if this kid doesn't work out or this kid does, you can develop that child. In Major League Soccer, we don't have that same system. And the problem is, and one of the things Lawless brings up, and I absolutely agree with, is so this kid goes to Real Madrid and he's playing with the same players in Real Madrid for years. And you develop this cohesiveness with the team. So what happens with U.S. men's national team and there's like women's soccer, I mean, it's kind of the same over there. It's not as big a fan base, but it's there. It's subsidized by the league. But with men's soccer, you need the players to play together. They need to be cohesive. And the men's national team doesn't get that because Pusilic, who is still our best player, I mean, even though he's getting older, he plays in Europe. And I don't think he's in the Premier League anymore. I think he's in France. But you know, and then there's other players that are all over the map. They're never playing together. The first time they're going to see each other is when the World Cup comes around, you know? And I'll finish with this. So what was refreshing to see with the U.S. men's team was how strong they played together and how fun it was to watch them. And it sent a message to the people because the actual good players, like, they didn't play in the CONCACAF.
This year,
And so to watch that team get to the finals against Mexico, and we did score the first goal. It was a lovely header, but you know we got cheated by the refs. Just gonna throw that out there. We got cheated by the refs. But to watch that team gel, to watch how seriously they took that game and to play that game was really entertaining. And you know, for an American in the World Cup. A World Cup final for for USA right now is to get to the final 8 because we've never got past the Sweet 16. So to get to the final 8 would be a goal. There's no. I'm going to burst everyone's bubble now. We are not winning the World Cup. No. We are not beating those other teams. It's not happening. But to show the competitiveness might bring people forward, and the fact that like the Premier League is now on TNT, it's on Peacock, it's on all the time.
Well, yeah, you have it on NBC,
NBC as well,
CBS now carrying.
It's all one of those things. And so my feeling is I liked what I saw, and I know we were talking about women's sports. It's only going to lift women's sports up, and to bring it all the way back to basketball. And then I've been rambling. I'll hand the mic off. In order to bring it back to basketball. These women have to realize the men are the draw. That's what gets the money. If you want to be the draw, it has to be about the game. It can't be about this catty fighting over Caitlin Collins. It can't be. Clark. It can't be about Caitlin Clark. You can't do it. You can't do those flagrant fouls against her. And like, that's not basketball. You're just being catty. And everybody sees it. You have to draw people in. You have to market to women. Who was that? That was Bill Burr. Had a whole comic routine on the fact that the women's basketball and the women's soccer. And he goes, "Yeah, women, why the fuck aren't you going to the games? It's women's soccer. You're not going. You're all going to see the men's game." It all comes in together.
Well, come together. It worked though for the Pistons. And the Bulls when they had Rodman. Pistons had Lambeer and Rodman. always battling.
Yeah, but it was basketball first. It's basketball first, and then that was the bad boys.
Right.
You went in on lame beer and acted like you had the thing. You left
Yeah.
without teeth. Like, that's what happened. And there were fights, but there were fights for a reason. There were hard fouls. But the game was first. It was a rough game. I don't feel with women's basketball it's the game first. I don't see it. They're not marketing the game first, which I think is a giant mistake. They're marketing controversies, which it's kind of like an agitator at a protest. Yeah, that's great that you got the cops to engage with you, right? And that's great that you got arrested. But what did you do? In the end, what did you change? You didn't change anything. You just got arrested and you got to throw a rock at a police car. So that's how I'm likening this. They talk garbage about Caitlin. And look, like I said, I'm not taking Caitlin's side one way or the other, but they talk garbage about her. They do those cheap fouls on her. Like, you're not developing the game to where like it's like the play is better.
Right.
One of the big things with Angel Reese is all the bricks that she throws up. Like like you're supposed to be a pro basketball player and you can't shoot from 10 feet out.
Right.
Even
though she's rebounding, it's not just about rebounding. You got to score in the paint. And
you got to do the game. And that's what I think is missing. And that's where my disappointment came with the U.S. women's team, is that it was the game. They were leaps and bounds better than the world. And so I'm always Team USA. Whoever it is, Team USA, I'm in. Okay. I'm not a fan of pros playing in the Olympics, but that ship has sailed. But Team USA, okay, I'm all about it. And they played to a level that excelled every other country. And we had a pride in that right up until the social justice warriors started in on their nonsense and everybody soured on it. And it hurt the game. It hurt the game. People don't go to watch them anymore. There's less crowds now because of it. Like at some I'm what did Michael Jordan say? Like, he never got involved in politics because Republicans buy sneakers too. I think everybody should be part of that. I don't care what your political opinions are. I don't care what your social opinions are.
Play the game.
I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care if you have a beard or if you color your hair blue. I don't care. I don't care. What do you do? That's what matters for me. Please excel at what you do. And I think some women's sports, and I'm picking on women's sports because that's what we're talking about, because I can go into LeBron James all day and everybody. I can go all day on BLM and taking a knee and the whole thing.
He wants to come to New York.
Good luck, whatever. Come on over. You can flop over here too. Plenty of them. But what ended up happening was, I think the successful people, like, did you know how Jeter voted in the last election?
No.
Even now you don't know, right?
No.
Exactly. Do you know how Tom Brady votes? Do you know?
No. But
have you seen him patting the back of politicians and advocating? No. That's what he's seen with politicians.
Yes.
And Trump is a magnet, so everybody likes being around Trump. But you don't know what he does. But I know what 90% of the female basketball players do. I know how they are. I know their sexual preferences. I know their political preferences. I know their social preferences. And it just sours me. You're taking half your fan base away. The moment you take a side in a political issue, you are taking half your fan base away. I don't care if it's Trump or I don't care if it's the other side. Keep your mouth shut and develop your game. And if you develop the women's game, you will get paid more money. They're bitching about they don't make any money. You don't make any money because there's no television revenue and there's no people coming to your games. That's why you don't make money.
Right.
When you start developing it, you will make money.
I know we don't want to get into it, but this generation kind of is getting into the political part of it.
They have been for a while.
Which we're seeing in New York right now with what's going on.
Well, we're a long way from the Mexico City Olympics, where it was a legitimate black movement with how we were being treated in America. I didn't have to necessarily agree with the black fists, the black glove fists at the Olympics, but I understood what it was about. Now it's just every little thing that offends you, and I've got to hear daily about how someone doesn't like Trump. I don't care. So take, my favorite football team, I don't care if Dak Prescott is MAGA. The guy can't win a playoff game.
Yeah.
Win a playoff game, and then maybe we'll talk. Like I never knew how Tom Brady voted, but I know he won seven Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I know that. Been to 9. I know that. Okay, so I don't care. I don't know how Patrick Mahomes votes. How many Super Bowls has he gone to? It's just all of these things. Like I think we get bogged down into this stuff, and everybody has to see something or say something. I realize I'm seeing and saying something right now, but there's a point to this because this is the whole point, to talk about things. It's not necessarily a political podcast or a police podcast, even though we were both cops,
right,
and we both have political statements to make, but it's just, it's oft-putting. Like, that's what it is with me. Whenever, like I should be able to appreciate LeBron James.
But you can't because it was political.
It's just every second of the day he's whining about something. You are a billionaire. America gave you this teenager that went right to the NBA, right? And your talent and what you've done with that talent.
Just go with that.
America gave you this, and it's endless with you. And I'm just like, I just can't be bothered. Yeah. And so a lot of these younger ones, they want to have this. It depends on what type of social media presence you have. You have some that are, in bikinis all the time. And then you have the other ones that are posting everything, every political news that they have. And then you have the other ones that are social justice warriors. And then you have the other ones that are MAGA or whatever side you want to go. And I just don't care. And I especially don't care if you're not playing well. Like if you're not playing well on my team, I could care less what you think about the certain political situation.
Right, that's what they bring. They bring it up, so that's how they stay relevant.
Yeah, I can't. So we started with the women's game, and I would like to have a healthy women's. I don't think the women can support like all the sports. I don't think there's ever going to be a professional softball league that's going to matter. Flag football in the Olympics. Just why flag football? Why? So
it is big, and it is big with girls.
Yeah, and it's big with boys. Like it's big, but it's flag football. Why? Why don't you just play tiddlywinks?
Then you're going back to what the NFL's doing. Which is playing flag football.
But that's for a silly all-star game. That's all that is. So I get it. I don't want. There's another reason I want those things. Yeah, they're promoting a flag football league, but
no, aren't they going to do? They're doing flag football in the Olympics, right?
Yes, I know. I could care less about it. They took out wrestling, one of the 6 original sports, so we could put flag football and breakdancing in. Spare me. So, but I think like women, golf is one, it's established. Tennis is one, it's established. And Venus and Serena Williams and a couple of those women tennis players are very vocal, but the tennis comes first.
Right.
Martina Navratilova, all these up, they're very vocal socially, but tennis comes first. And if they're no good at tennis, then no one's going to pay any attention.
Right.
So I think there's avenues: soccer, tennis, golf. All right. I don't think flag football is going to take off anywhere. You want to throw that in there, fine. I just don't think there's many avenues for women sports-wise that's going to connect on a professional level where they're going to make money.
They have the female hockey league now too.
It's the female. It's not bad. It's not bad. I've watched a few games. And these girls have played hockey forever. So, but do I think they're going to rival anything? I think no. So I don't need like. The WNBA ceases to exist the second the NBA stops financing. That's it. It's
right.
It ceases to exist. It will not be part of it. And I think as a person that would be involved in that, you have to understand that and accept where you are and then build from that. So, okay, maybe 10 years from now, we will have a viable fan base that supports a certain amount of teams, that allows us to make a certain amount of money to the point where we're not totally beholden on the NBA to support us. That's how I would be as a female athlete. So soccer, women's soccer is not as popular as men's soccer, but even men's professional soccer isn't
popular.
It's enough. I mean, they're bringing old players, or like Messi plays for Florida,
Right, for the
yeah, and it brings people over. I mean, I go back to the days of the Cosmos and Pele and Giorgio Canale and Franz Beckenbauer. But I mean, like, so now there's people, but these men's leagues subsidize the women's leagues, which I don't have a problem with, because I think there should be a viable avenue for women to play. But if you're going to tell me in any way that I should be excited about women's sports before men's sports, it's not happening. No. It's just not happening, it's not a bad thing. So, like, yes, I care about women's soccer. I watch women's soccer. The UEFA Women's Champions are on, and I'll watch that. It's not as good as the men's. No. It never will be, but I watch it. I'll watch anything that has America involved. I watch that. So there's avenues, but I just think that they bog themselves down with this stuff, and it's just, so I don't know.
Now, get that off that. Now, just a thought about what's your thought, actually, I know with the way that soccer does the developmental.
Yes.
Would you, the NBA kind of does that with the G League.
The G League, yeah.
MLB kind of with
minor leagues and college.
To get soccer more of a presence in the USA, would you get those European league, like what the NFL is trying to do, bring the NFL to Europe?
It's never going to happen.
But like the Premier League, bring some.
They do. They have friendlies and games here all the time.
Right. But an actual team.
Well, I'll tell you why any team in Europe with the NFL is a pipe dream, and any English Premier League team in America is a pipe dream. You are not going to get players to fly 3,000 miles back and forth. It's not happening. You would watch a game, say, in London. So that game in London that's on at 1:00 here is on at 7:00 there. You could never have a night game. The taxes in Europe are excessive. It's like playing in Canada, So I can guarantee you anybody playing for the Toronto Blue Jays right now doesn't want to play there, because the taxes in Canada are excessive compared to everywhere else. If you wanted to know where we could develop something, like it's kind of like the CONCACAF, where I think an NFL team will be is in Mexico at some point. We'll have a team in Mexico.
Well, they said the Super Bowl is going to be in Europe in the next 2-3 years.
I don't think so. That never. No, never.
and Woody's one of the people that's going to push it.
It's not going to happen. Why on earth would you put an American sport? It's not the World Cup. Why are you going to put an American sports premier game in Europe? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. NFL will stay here.
Well, everyone said that about, how NFL is now on all the streaming.
Well, I saw that coming. The one thing I don't think that's
MLB.
The one thing I don't think that's going to happen is I don't think you're going to see any World Series, any Super Bowl, any NBA Finals that will never be behind a paywall. That's suicide. That's suicide, because that's what everybody watches.
NBA and MLB, I don't see. NFL, I do.
No
see.
way. Super Bowl, no. Biggest game in the United States, and they put it behind a paywall. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. You'd cannibalize your audience in a minute. In a minute, not going to happen. So I foresee what I was hoping was going to happen. Talking about streaming is, I don't know why they haven't done this yet. So how now it's YouTube. But how DirecTV had the NFL package and all that.
Yeah.
And so you can watch every game. I don't understand for the life of me why I can't buy a Dallas Cowboy package. Why can't I just pay a certain amount to get every Dallas Cowboy game? So I'm a fan.
Don't they?
No, you can do YouTube TV. You can get the package, which allows you to watch the Cowboys, but you get every game. Why can't I just buy a package for my team? I'm a man who does not live in Dallas, so therefore I have to go somewhere else to watch a game, or I have to pay YouTube for the rights to look at that game. But if I just want to watch the Cowboys, why can't I do that?
It has to do. I believe it has to do with the local broadcasting and some FCC stuff.
But I'm paying for it. YouTube gets away with it. YouTube plays every game. Every game, no blackouts. Like if the Giants are on NBC, they're on YouTube TV as well. So there's no blackouts. I think blackouts are stupid too. That's from back in broadcast TV.
Because it's not just United States, and you could watch it everywhere. That's the only thing I could think of.
What I'm saying is I'm paying for it. I'm voluntarily giving the NFL money to watch the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. Now, like I said, it's probably not going to happen, but that's what I'm wondering why you can't do that. I'm giving Major League Baseball. I move out of here and I move to, I don't know. Where do I want to live? South Carolina. Why not?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. I'm paying to say SNY or Major League Baseball. I'm paying to watch every Mets game. I'm paying them. I don't see how that could happen.
You know what? To the MLB innings, I think you can.
Yeah.
I think it's on and off because I always see people complaining it's, because they have the MLB package. Now they're blacked out. Also because they're on Amazon, so they can't watch. They are paying I believe MLB does it. I know what you're saying.
Right.
It's just I don't know why it wouldn't be for the NFL.
But you have to pay for the entire thing. And like I said, I would for me as a fan, I would pay a premium. So talking about soccer, I got Peacock. I pay for it because I like watching Liverpool, and Liverpool isn't always on NBC or USA.
It's on Peacock.
So you have to go to Peacock to watch it. But I'm paying for that. Now, all the other teams are on there. Why can't I just buy a Liverpool package? Why can't I just watch my team? Now, I would say that there should be the ability to watch all the games if you want, sure. But if you just want a specific package, I don't see why we can't do that. But there must be some brain bigger than mine that has crunched the numbers and figured that out. I couldn't begin to figure that out. But like I said, our conversation has gone all over the place with this women's sports thing. Blue was supposed to help us with her woman's perspective. Didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. But
yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
I don't really watch any of the sports.
That's
so
okay.
I don't know that I'd watch women's sports. I'd probably watch men's sports over women's sports too. I mean, tennis I think would be a little bit different.
Sure.
I feel like they are pretty tough about it. Yeah. But yeah, I don't do drama, and I feel like a lot of women do drama, and that's the problem. Basically, what you were saying, but shortness is just drama.
Sure. I was known to be long-winded. I don't know if you're aware.
No, it's all good. Long story short, but it ends up being longer than a short story.
Long and winding road.
Yeah. A couple turns along the way. It's all good. I do the same thing.
But yeah, so I guess to put a bow on the women's sports argument is every group of people that started any professional league had growing pains and had to understand that in order to be successful, in order to make the money, or in order to let other people make money going forward, because that would be the bitch of older players. Joe DiMaggio had to go to all those autograph signings because he didn't make the kind of money that these guys do today.
Have a good product.
Yeah. You got to put a good product on the field, and you got to bring everybody in. You have to bring everybody. You can't just do one person. So the moment if I'm somebody and my league is not the NFL will survive the Black Lives Matter movement, that stupid end racism in the taking the fucking knee. NFL will survive because it's the NFL and they built it up over time. Major League Baseball did the same bullshit. They survived too, But when you're talking about women's sports and trying to develop it, you don't. I hate saying this because it almost sounds second-class citizen. With this comment, tell me if this it's not a sports thing. Let me hear if this sounds second-class citizen for women like you. You don't have the luxury of telling me what you think in women's soccer. You don't have the luxury of telling me your views on Donald Trump in women's basketball because you need me. I don't need you. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the same with men and women's sports, or even the movie stars. I really don't care who they vote for. I don't need to know any of that BS.
Well, I think my point was this: Tom Cruise could tell me tomorrow that he voted for Hillary Clinton 97 times, and he's still the most famous, popular actor in the world, and I will still go see his movies. Okay, Rachel Ziegler, who is a talented actress, but cannot keep her mouth shut. You know who Rachel Ziegler is? So she did the Snow White and all these other ones, and she's very, very vocal about social justice and what she thinks of Donald Trump and all. And
well, that's Cynthia Clark too.
Cynthia Nixon.
Nixon.
But I mean, so what I'm saying is this: football will survive. I don't want to hear what LeBron James has to say. I don't care, but the NBA is going to be just fine, and he's still going to make $1 billion because the NBA has built up over time. The Patrick Mahomes, who I do not know his voting patterns, but plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. I know you don't follow sports, but he's already won a couple of Super Bowls. He's a Hall of Famer. And Travis Kelce dates Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift has her own way of doing things. I don't care. The NFL is an established quantity. I think I would liken this. I'll ask again the same way. I want to go back to the first time that blacks were allowed into Major League Baseball. They clearly had views on the fact that they had to play in the Negro leagues. They clearly had views on how they were treated in the South with separate hotels and separate dining rooms and where they could ride and what they could do. They clearly had a view on the Klan, but they knew that they couldn't say anything.
Right.
Not yet anyway, because they hadn't established themselves to the point that it would be forgiven. So now my question again is women's basketball, because that's what we started with Kate and Clark and Angel Reese and all these folks. They don't have the street cred yet. They don't have the audience. Tomorrow, if we just decide, all right, I'm sick of that garbage, that league is over. There's no support for that league. The men would have to pay for it. They'll have 20 people in the stands. So I'm wondering, once again, knowing their situation as a woman, would it be better for you right now to grin and bear it as opposed to being able, like LeBron James, to be able to opine on Donald Trump and his, his radical tendencies after your game, whether you shot 1 for 40 or had 50 points that game?
Yeah, so I guess the women would be shooting themselves in the foot, but I would treat them the same way. Like, I don't care if LeBron James is like this big guy. I wouldn't want to hear it from him as compared to somebody else. Like, okay. I look at it as you're entertaining or you're playing a sport. That's what you're paid to do. I don't give a crap what else you know what I mean? I don't care what you think about like Donald Trump. I don't care what you think about. I don't even want to hear it. But there are certain stars that I actually won't watch their movies anymore because of their bullshit. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to persuade me who to vote for. Don't try to make this guy look like a bad guy. This guy look like a good, like, I don't care. You're paid to entertain. That's your job. Do your job. But I feel like it's the same regardless of what level they're at. But I do see what you're saying, because with the women doing it and they're not up high here yet, they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like, I'm seeing it also like it as a catch-22, which, the whole women's movement, all women, women this, women that, empower women. Yeah. And then going back to with the whole trans thing.
I think that
where now you want men in the,
I can't justify. I cannot figure out for the life of me, after all the work and all the strides that women had to go through to be.
They want to be vocal. No. You're being vocal, but it's ruining.
I think I look at it another way. So, suffragettes, the suffrage movement, women voting, women having equal access, Title IX, which gave, we talked about this, I think, on one of our first, Title IX, which said that if you have males in college and scholarship opportunities, women should have them. For the life of me, I don't get why women want men, that's who they are, men in their spaces. I can't figure this out. I can't figure out why you'd want them to take scholarships from you, take awards from you. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
From our last show, Simone Biles totally backtracked.
She's gone now. Yeah, she figured it out. Yeah, she was. I think after the whole backtracking with Simone Biles, I think she was trying to carve a lane, because, as I've said before, women's gymnastics. There are certain sports where once you're done, like, we care about you every 4 years. That's all it is. That's when we care. And most Olympic sports are like that. Like, do you know who won the pommel horse for the men last year? No, you don't.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Actually,
Do you know who won the high jump
No.
jump for the women last year? You don't, because we only care every 4 years. So Simone Biles, I think, even though she's a generational talent, she, I think, was trying to carve a lane for herself. And I think she figured she'd come out blazing against Riley Gaines, who she was going up against, to make this point. And I think when that backlash came, I mean, it came back fierce, because I think she missed the boat. The boat to be on that, the time to get on that boat was 4.5, 5 years ago.
Right.
You know, and now everybody's going the other way. And, you know, you can just see it in society with her. I just can't. I look, let me be fair. Live and let live. If you are a functioning adult, I don't care what you do as long as you are not hurting yourself or hurting somebody else. I don't care. It's none of my business, you know? But if I'm also being fair, you are a trans, okay? That does not make you the other sex. You are still biologically something else. There are situations that, even though I'm going to show you respect and dignity, and I think you should be able to compete in athletics, you know, if that's what you want to do, you are, and because it only goes one way. You notice that there's no women that go to the men's side. You never hear that.
Right.
But you are not a woman. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to dilute. It is a fantasy when you tell me you're a woman. You are not. You are not. I will still show you the dignity and respect of how you want to live your life. Whether I agree with it or not is irrelevant, but you are not a woman, and you should not be in what I would call protected women's spaces, which is playing in women's sports,
Correct.
in a women's locker room, in a woman's bathroom. I don't think that this should be something you should be doing. And if that's the trade-off for you to be able to live your life as you see fit, I'm okay with that. And okay, the bathroom thing. All right, make every bathroom unisex. Ladies, you can sit on the pee seat that the men don't lift up all you want. Feel free. Men's bathrooms are disgusting. So feel free.
Women's bathrooms aren't any better.
Okay, because I'm sitting there like, feel free to have a men's bathroom, and we'll all go do our business together.
Yeah, believe it or not, you'll find pee on the seats, pee on the floor.
Oh,
everything
classic.
else. You know.
Yeah.
They're a disgusting mess. In
I see. So if that's how you want to play that game, fine. But like I said, you know, it's not something I want to entertain anymore. You know, and I think finally
people are fine.
They're the people, but there are politicians, there are states, the federal government. You know, they are now pushing back on that. You know, and you know, it's outside the sports realm. Don't get me started on anybody transing a child. Don't get me started on that, because they'll ban us. They'll ban us off everything if I start on that. So, but women's sports and the whole thing, it seems like maybe if I'm being to bring this back and make it nice, I think it's growing pains. I think they're shooting themselves in the foot because they're not used to being, what's the word I want to use?
In the forefront?
Relevant. And it's bad to say relevant because that kind of diminishes people. So that's not really what I'm doing here. But they're not used to being relevant in the diaspora. And Mo would hate that word because he'd have to go look it up on his dictionary. But the idea that people are listening to them now, people are following them now, they have an importance outside of the small group of people that are constantly following the sport. You know, you know, there's a cadre of women and men that follow women's soccer, and they're core believers. There's women and men who follow women's basketball. They do, you know, and there's and on and on. And actually, there's a lot of women and men who follow women's golf, but that's another story. And women's tennis, the same thing. But I don't think they're used to the influence they're having yet. And I would like to think that they're shooting themselves in the foot because they haven't figured it out yet. But I don't know. We'll have to see where that takes us.
I think they'll get it.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Well, where do you think the turn happens?
They're just going to have to come together somehow.
But look at what's going on. Back to basketball. We'll steer right back to where we started.
Yeah, I know.
Caitlin Clark, whether they like it or not, is the face of women's basketball. That's the only reason people followed her through, because of her career in college. And that's why women's basketball kind of took even though colleges watch, women's basketball took a preeminent spot with her because of her. That is the person you rally behind. That is the person that,
and it has nothing to do with color.
But you don't protect. You don't protect. But that's the person you market. That's the person that that packs the stadium. Everybody wants to come in and see her.
We have that in baseball. We have that in.
Yeah. But much the same way that when Jackie Robinson came up, all right, because he wasn't supposed to be the first one. The first one was supposed to be Satchel Paige, but Satchel Paige was an alcoholic and couldn't keep his mouth shut. That was the problem. But Jackie Robinson comes up and had to go about his business with a dignity and grace that almost the entire country, the southern part of the country, was completely racist towards him, and multiple players were completely racist towards him. And he simply just had to go about his business.
Right.
And as he grew, the acceptance of blacks in Major League Baseball, so came up these other people. And the tide rises all boats, that kind of thing.
Right.
That's how it went. But he had to go about it a certain way. He certainly in his later life had opinions on how he felt. And if you've ever listened to Reggie Jackson, when it was a Willie Mays documentary, and Reggie, when you talk to him about why he was such a surly fuck, was because how he was treated. And what they called him, what they did to him. And so that's why he was the way he was. But he was able to be surly and act the way he did because of what Jackie Robinson did, because now you had built baseball up to a point where this was how we viewed players. I don't think women's sports, at least those two that we talked about, have figured that out yet.
I know we brought up Jackie. It seemed like it was a little different with OJ.
What do you mean?
He was more accepted.
Oh, well, we could go all day about OJ forgot being black in about 1978. Right. He was never black again. He was white until he had to be black again, and then all of a sudden he was in the hood. That guy hadn't spent a minute in the hood. He hung out with white people, white friends, and that was it, OJ was the juice. I mean, we're all old enough to know that. And he was a Hertz salesman. He was a marginal actor. He was on Monday Night Football. He was a brand. Right. So
and because of his brand, the way that he did, like what we're trying to say, grow, keep quiet, all his problems were kind of hidden. Well,
back in a simpler, I tell people here's something about social media. So I teach college, and every year I talk to the kids, and I go, something, I feel bad for you, and they all look at me, and I go, you know what I got to do as a kid? And they're like, what? Make a mistake. Say something stupid. Act inappropriately.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know the only people that knew that? The person that was right next to me. And if nobody was around me, no one knew. I said, I can't blow my nose now without it being a social media sensation. I was a police officer. I was in the job for 30 years. I've been on camera everywhere. I could tell you the difference. I'm not saying one's better, one's worse. I could tell you how the job was prior, and I could tell you how the job is now. It wasn't unheard of. Like the rules of the ghetto applied. You fought with a cop. Your first trip was to the hospital. No. I mean, now that's not the same. Now, is that better or worse? I guess it's better, but I don't know.
But now you're the one that gets fired.
But so I tell all these. I'm not even going that far. Yeah. I'm telling all these kids that they want to be cops, and so social media. I tell all of them. I go, if you have pictures that you can't show your mother on your Instagram, get rid of them. I said, if you have an opinion on Donald Trump or somebody else, and you want to be on the police department, clear that now. Get rid of it, because it's going to jam you up. And then I go like when we talk about OJ, let's get back to that. OJ was doing all this stuff for decades. This is nothing new for OJ, and so was Nicole Brown. And so they were all doing that stuff. It's just, you didn't hear about it.
Right.
Everybody kept their mouth shut.
Yeah.
Now we know the bowel movements of most of these social media influencers every day. And so I feel bad for people. Like I embrace social media because I tell people, like, Facebook allowed me to connect with family members who I don't see all that often. And so in some way I got to be part of their lives. Like, oh, look, you went to Barcelona, or look at that, there's a birthday. Oh, look, you had a grandkid, things like that, or friends that moved away, or things like that. That was what it was for me. And that's what it kind of still is. But now, I mean, it's a cesspool, and there is no privacy. But with that, to bring it back to sports, is that I think these folks live in this alternate reality where, like, they think that, like you said, you don't care how actors talk about how people vote. No one cares about that. No one's going to remember that a day later, where something used to matter to you. Like I used to go on a trip to Cape Cod every year, and I remember we would cross the George Washington Bridge and get a gift on it, and that mattered to me. Now, like, whatever matters to me right now, like with this, like, with anybody watching, like 5 minutes from now, they're going to watch another podcast and it's over.
Right.
And then they're going to move on to the next one. They've forgotten all of this, no matter what we've gotten out of it. And I just think that people are trying so desperately to stay relevant. I want to be in the front. And that's why right now, anyway, tying Jackie Robinson together, tying Billie Jean King together with women's tennis, tying all these people together and bringing it all around is, I think they believe their social media presence, and their social media presence is actually hurting the brand that they're trying to develop. And I think that if they just took, and my worthless 2 cents opinion, if they just took a step back and took a breath and realized that I'm going to make more money, get more fame, I'm going to be able to do more things with my platform if I build this game up, keeping my mouth shut, and let my play on the court, let my play on the soccer field take precedence over what's going on, I don't know, in an ICE raid in Chicago, or the latest trans movement. I just think that's where it goes. And I'm the positive way of looking at it. I think women's sports is going through that growing pains. And I think it's going to take somebody of a Billie Jean King or a Jackie Robinson-esque person for them to be the front, tell everybody to shut up, and grow the brand.
It is kind of Caitlin Clark, but they're not. But with everything going on, she can't. But that's the whole problem.
There's these other players that, instead of seeing
it, they're
so like with basketball, like Michael Jordan saved basketball and ruined basketball. The Michael Jordan rule, you can't touch him, can't do anything. But he also brought a renaissance back to basketball. He became the face and the voice of everything. And Michael Jordan understood that. Well, Michael Jordan was doing a lot of stuff on the side. Once again, we never heard about that.
Right.
But Michael Jordan, as a person, kept his social and political views to himself. And as such, people came back to the league and followed everything that he did, right? And I'm sure he has opinions. I'm sure he does. He just keeps them to himself. And so basketball had a renaissance. Basketball is dying now because nobody's watching it, because the players are insufferable with their attitudes, and the quality of the product on the court isn't good anymore. So why am I watching this? So these overpaid babies who happen to be good at shooting a ball into a hoop, right, are now expounding on things that I don't care what they think. I care that my team wins. And I think that's what's going on with basketball. But basketball will survive because it built its brand earlier. And I don't think that these women have figured out yet that you've got to make the sacrifices now to build the brand, which the sacrifice is keep your mouth shut, be quiet, shut up and play. That's what you need to do right now. And once you do that and you build the team up, and all of a sudden these rivalries, and Caitlin Clark coming and packs the stadium, that's good. That's good. And so they're all together. They're all working hard together, and people start enjoying the game. more people come, more people buy the merch, more people watch on TV. All of a sudden, now you're making more money. And
it gets spread out.
And you're never going to make the men's money. Stop with that. You're never going to make the men's money, but you're going to make more money. You're going to be able to live a very comfortable life at some point.
More endorsements, more.
Everything will come with that, but I don't think they see that yet.
Yeah.
So a few more things to tie up as we're rounding down to the end of this, as Steve summoned, this midday schmooze, stealing his line. I'm wearing my Liverpool shirt today. It was very sad news. Diego Jota dies in a car crash in Spain. His brother died. It's very sad. He married the mother of his, I think he had 3 kids. The mother's 3 kids 10 days earlier. He had lung surgery, so he couldn't go to, he couldn't fly. He was actually going back to England because they were starting the practices, and he'd taken his brother with him, and he was in his Ferrari. He tried to overtake a car, and there's a little, they're not really giving out much, but the tire blew out, and they both died. It was really sad. He was a big part of Liverpool winning the Premier League last year. A good guy. It was nice in the CONCACAF. One of the players that played with him on Mexico, when he scored a goal, he had his jersey and he showed it to everybody. It was a real sad day for that. I mean, like for the Premier League in general, and for Liverpool fans in general. And I'm sure there's going to be lots and lots of tributes for him coming into the Premier League next year. But it was a sad day. We touched on the FIFA Club Championship with soccer and whatnot. Real Madrid versus PSG. That's
today.
Right? Chelsea versus PSG at 3:00. I was telling people off air, I go to a Spanish restaurant, mostly for the margaritas, but I sit at the bar with the guys because they're all into soccer and it's great. They're mostly Real Madrid fans. And so there was a lot of yelling and shouting that particular day. But a lot of my bigger soccer fans say it's just a money grab. And it probably is right now because there's so many tournaments. But I think this one might have potential, like the WBC and the Six Nations League. I think that might have something going. But when they talk about a money grab, the 2 games that were played at MetLife were sold out. MetLife is a 90,000 seat stadium, sold out for these games.
Usually, all these. Games.
Not the friendlies. The friendlies don't usually draw that.
No, the big one. Yeah, the big ones.
Like the World Cup is
right.
ridiculous. I mean, a cheap ticket and the worst seats for the World Cup on an odd game is $1,100. It's unreal how much money they're going to get. But just to see, to bring the soccer forward, to see how soccer is becoming. I think they're doing it right this time because America's tried a couple of times to make soccer work. I think embracing the Premier League and putting them on will only benefit Major League Soccer and all what goes on with America. And I like it. And so that's on today at 3:00.
Right.
Thoughts on soccer
Fox?
for you? No, it's TNT.
I think that I think that's kind of a problem.
Why?
Going back to the cable or streaming should be on a major network. If you won't really want.
Yeah, I guess, but doesn't TNT come with basic cable? I mean, how many people have rabbit ears anymore? Everybody's got basic cable. Even Fubo and Tubi have them on, and that's free. Well, basically free,
Right.
Yeah, I can't hurt. And so developing that and adding another, soccer will never be as popular as the 4. Not here anyway. But if you build it up to the point where we can keep and develop players and make a cohesive team, maybe one day we are competing in a World Cup, which is really the only one that matters for the world, I mean, I loved the CONCACAF. It was great. I enjoy it, but we'll see how it all develops. But yes, today, 3:00, Chelsea, who won the Champions League, and PSG, who won the I think they won the French league and whatnot. So there'll be 2 good teams playing, and it seems like they're trying to play hard together.
Chelsea.
Yeah. And then finally, as I always like to say, it is a disgrace that Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame. I will not stop saying it. And I will say it even after those jokers disgracefully said he can go in and they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame. And I agree with Mo. The family should not even bother going to this thing. And if they do, that speech should be scorched earth. You waited until my father died. You wouldn't even give him the dignity of knowing that he did that. I get it. He gambled. Every single player in the major leagues is doing something fugazi to get up there. And okay, he bet on baseball. So, Shoeless Joe Jackson, the Black Sox scandal, 1918 or 19, I forget which one it was. But okay, they were still great players. Remember, the Hall of Fame is not affiliated with Major League Baseball. It's about talent on the field.
Yep.
And disgraceful. So
I
will continue my tirade on Pete Rose and Charlie Hustle for as long as you allow me behind the golden microphone that's over here. So with that, any final thoughts?
2 more games. We got tomorrow for the Mets and Yankees. Hopefully they both do whatever. They're both going to have good winning records going into the All-Star break, second half. We'll get to the next topic when we go back. Stronger league. Some say the American League. Some say the National League. I think it's more the National League is more balanced because you're probably going to have 2 teams from the NL East, Mets and Phillies. They're going to battle for the division and wild card. Central's going to have 2. West is probably going to wind up having 2 or 3. It's going to be that battle between the Central and the West. The American League, you have 4 teams that are probably going to be going from the East. 1 team from the Central, 1 team from the West. So that's why I think the NL is more balanced than the.
Yeah, we can have a chat about that after the All-Star break. Yeah.
And MetLife has grass for the soccer, but not for. Yeah.
They have to.
MetLife.
That's why, because they should have played the finals for the World Cup in Dallas, but Dallas can't put natural grass in, so they can't do it. It's a rule. They have to play on natural grass.
MetLife should stay grass.
Sure.
For football, hopefully, I guess we'll see what happens.
What was that baseball player in the? I remember like Twib Notes. You remember Twib Notes? Yeah. If a horse can't eat it, I don't want to play on it. So that's kind of the whole thing. So
I guess that's it.
After this, a banger of an episode. Good stuff. Good stuff today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Blue, for managing the whole thing, and your opinions were excellent and helpful for our discussion. And Mike, as always, a pleasure.
Yes. And again, signing out from the.
Anything you want to plug?
Not for me today. No. You got anything?
No, but I think I'm going to try to get. I know the NYPD is having their a smoker coming up in August. Hopefully, I'll talk to Vinny, who's doing that, and get him on.
And Campy later, right?
Yeah, we have Campy at 1:30.
1 o'clock.
Stand by for Campy.
Campy is at 1:30.
1:30.
Campy's choir practice. Stand by for him.
Yep.
Funny bastard. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
All right, everybody have a great day.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.